All right, guys. So today we're going to be talking about something extremely important, which is how to select your mentors, how to understand who's real, who's fake, what the point is even of having a mentor, right? This term mentor is so loosely thrown around because it's somebody that you just watch on YouTube for free, a mentor. That's my question for you. Are they your mentor? Do you look up to them? Is there a reason for you to look up to them? Are they teaching you something that you can genuinely take in, understand, you elaborate, can you ask them questions? Okay, and that's gonna be one of the biggest things here. Is it somebody that's genuinely involved in your journey, or somebody that you could just take parts of, maybe ask them a couple questions on group calls, maybe learn something from somebody? Now, a little update on the brand. So things have slowed down a little bit, but still 214 in the last 90 days, not too bad. This next couple of months is gonna be huge. I feel it. I literally feel it in my chest, in my brain, in my balls, literally everywhere. And if you don't feel that way, like if you wake up and you just don't feel that way in your biz, in your life, it's not over for you. Like it's I promise you it is not over for you. You just need to watch this video for starters because I'm gonna break down why the fuck you feel this way and how you're gonna combat it and how you're really gonna get over this hump, this roadblock that you physically cannot get over. And if that roadblock for you is like a depressed version of yourself, maybe it's not depression, right? Maybe depression ain't real for you. Maybe it's bullshit. Okay, but if it's a hump that you just physically cannot get over and it's bothering you, you don't want to go to school, you don't want to go to work, you don't want to do shit because you feel like you should be further along than you are, then I'm sorry, but you have to take a long look in the mirror and dive deep into this video. So for starters, again, guys, last 30 days is like 60K. It is what it is. Sales fluctuate all the time. I'm still learning as I go. So every time I launch a new brand or new something, it always has a lot of hype or it doesn't have a lot of hype, and then things turn around or they don't turn around, and shit just happens. So you have to understand that if a mentor doesn't remind you that not every day is gonna be a sick day, because even if you have millions of dollars in sales that day, I promise you there will be warehouse fires. There will be fucking sales reps that you'll be fucking you over, or maybe some, I don't know, unhappy customers filing hella chargebacks for no reason. Maybe they ordered 5 orders, but they filed 5 chargebacks when they really only want their chargeback to one, or some crazy bullshit, right? And there will always be bullshit. So if your mentor isn't talking to you about that, right? Maybe they're trying to convince you that all the times are good. All you have to do is stay disciplined, even through the bullshit. That's fair, right? That is fair because in their brain, they could tackle roadblocks way faster than they even come at them. But in your case, right, when the roadblocks are big in relativity to your journey, right, maybe you're just starting. So a massive roadblock like an ad account ban or some crazy shit, your LLC taking way too long to get to you, that is a roadblock that maybe you can't necessarily just get over right away, the same way that they might be able to, right? That's a little different for them, okay? Leader, does the leader lead, or do they just tell you what to do and they don't really offer you guidance? They don't really tell you, right? The way I look at this is like if somebody gets you into their community and they're not really involved. I've been in so many communities before, and it's like, are the leaders of that community actually active, or do they outsource every part? Do they outsource the coaching? Or are they just only caring about making ads? Or are they only caring about getting your money, and then they kind of just vanish, right? They don't really help you, but they promised you that they would help you. That is the main point too. Did they promise you when they got you in that they would be there to answer your questions? Group coaching calls where they'll be there all the time in the group, answering, the Discord, the school, whatever, answering your questions. If they're not doing that, I'm sorry, but maybe they care more about making money, which is not a bad thing for them. I mean, they're making the money. But for you, is it beneficial for you if somebody literally is vanished, right? They don't answer the questions that you had for them because they think that they don't need to, or like the coaches are enough. The problem is you paid to learn from the coach. Are they telling you what to do and then they showed you with their results, or are they just getting you in the group and then outsourcing you and pawning you off to a coach? Now, there are two keys to this, right? A lot of you, most of you, maybe not the explicitly all the ones that watch my channel, because I feel like the ones that watch my channel are very different from like the normal people in this space that get involved. Are you having discipline, or are you having motivation? Now, most people like Tate, people like Goggins, people like even Gary Vee, they get you motivated, they get you hyped up. You could fucking do it. And if you wanted me to sit here every single day and to remind you that you could fucking do it, you can. Obviously, anybody can. Will everybody do it? Absolutely not. That's why when you tell your goals to your friends, that's when you tell your goals to your family, and they're not, besides your mother, if they're not really proud of you or like they don't really care yet, it's because you have no results. You're just telling them, yo, I want to do this. Everybody has ideas. Nobody gives a fuck about your ideas. Truthfully, I'm sorry. It's plain black and white. They don't care. When you have results, though, they will care. They'll ask you, how'd you do it? I need your time. Show me. Do this. I want to give you a percent of my business, which is ridiculous because they didn't care when you had nothing. They only cared after you made it happen, right? So the people that actually get you involved in e-commerce, in dropshipping, in anything, they got you there because they got you so motivated that you told everyone, you told yourself, I'm changing my life. I'm doing this shit. But then you go to the gym, you do a couple things, you hit the sauna, you do some cold plunges, you do some meditations, you read, you journal, you're doing all this shit. And then when it comes to actually working, that's when your discipline fades. Now, it's very, very similar to this chart. The discipline, week one, week two, the discipline and the motivation, they carry you. They hold you up there. You're doing it again. But the problem is, once the motivation dies down, you fall off a cliff. Whereas if you were disciplined, at least if you stagnated somewhere there, you could actually pat yourself on the back. Maybe you hit the gym every single day for 2, 3, 4 weeks straight. You're getting a little bigger. You're getting a little tougher. You know, you're hitting the boxing bag a little bit. You're getting a little tougher. You're actually adding stuff to your Shopify store every single day, or maybe you're adding products to your store every single day, or maybe you're adding ads, or you're doing something that pushes the ball forward. That is the discipline aspect. Waking up and actually tackling things, which we're going to get deeper into why it's so important. Now, if this is you, if you're the guy that falls off the cliff, you gotta understand, if you don't change ASAP, you ain't gonna make it. You are not gonna make it because you're just gonna sit on your phone. You're gonna scroll over and over and over and over again, keep getting motivated, and it's gonna depress you. It's gonna spike your dopamine over and over and over again, and then it's just gonna depress you. You're gonna wake up, you don't even give a fuck. You don't care if you're at the gym, you don't care if you do anything, and that's just not the way. The way has to be you being motivated, you being disciplined, you actually wanting to change, so you actually wake up every day and change shit, okay? Now, what gets you there? What gets you here to the cars, the houses? This is all everybody gives a shit about, right? If you disagree with me, fine. If you say family, fine. But where do you want to stick your family? You want to stick your family in the slums, or you want to stick your family in something like this? This is what we all want, of course. So to get you there, the motivation to get you here, it's not going to be just motivating. This is what motivates you. This is it. The vision boards, the people posting it every day. You scroll. Everybody on social media is a success. Every mentor. We all have sports cars. We all have huge houses, right? We all have fucking real estate and huge crypto portfolios and huge stock portfolios. That's amazing. But what does that do for you? How the fuck does that help you? You as an individual person watching at ground zero, maybe you're not even at ground zero. Maybe you're a tenth of the way here, a mansion and a car. Maybe you're a tenth of the way. Maybe you have 10, 20, 50, 100K saved up. How does this help you watching these videos over and over again? These aren't guides. These aren't showing you how to make more. But this is how you got roped in. This is how you got motivated to start, though. There's nothing wrong with that. You are already the 1% of people that actually give a fuck about making a bunch of money. Congratulations. But you have to take the next step. So what is the next step? But this is what it's about. The Stoic exercise for mental fitness. This is what it's about. This is what you should be training yourself in. Now, if you read this book and it's good, that's amazing. If you don't, there are other books, there are other ways, videos, things that could develop your mind that you should be reading every day, not just as a motivational tool, as a disciplinary tool that could get you there. Now, is it going to do the work for you? Is a book, words on paper, going to do the work for you? Obviously not, guys. Obviously not. I mean, it's a rhetorical question. Meditations on self-discipline and failure. Why is the end failure so important? Because any success story has failed more times than you can imagine. Maybe even more times than you tried, obviously. That is a very big quote. So imagine if me, who has literally tried hundreds of Shopify stores at this point, has failed more times than you tried. What does that mean for you? That means you have to try hundreds of times to fail to dozens of times to learn enough to finally find some success. It's the only way. It is the only way. There is no golden goose egg. Even if you got lucky on your very first store, I promise you, it's not going to be enough. I promise you, you'll hit a roadblock where you don't know how to overcome. You don't know who to pay to help you overcome this roadblock. You might end up failing again, and you're going to have to go back to the drawing board, pick another product, Pick another way to succeed. Now, what the fuck is this? This is a calendar. One of my favorite books that I read, that I still read to this day, that I started reading over 6 years ago before I found my ultimate success, is The Science of Getting Rich. If you watch my other videos, if you came from my TikTok, one of my most viral videos was talking about this book. Everyone in the comments agreed with me that this is one of the best books they've ever read. A short book, 90 pages, The Science of Getting Rich. It mentions an explicit tactic, a technique to help yourself and me motivate ourselves and keep ourselves disciplined, which is, if you had to write into a calendar, which you should do, but go buy a calendar right now, and if you had to list every single day, if that day was a failure or a success, that would literally be proof of why you failed or why you succeeded. Now, why and how does this work? You have the entire year to mark every single day as a success, S, or as a failure, F, okay, on a grading score. What defines it as a success? Did you plan today for tomorrow? Make a checklist of all the things that you could and should do in your business and in your life, and did you check off all the boxes? Did you check off a majority of the boxes? If you didn't, give yourself an F. You failed that day. This is what the book states. 100-year-old book. This is the technique you talked about 100 years ago for people who want to be successful. Did you check in more S's that year in every single day, 365 days? Were there more S's filled, or were there more F's? If you have more F's, how can you succeed? If you have more S's, how can you fail? That is verbatim from the book. If you punch in every single day into February, you got to be honest with yourself. There's nobody else to hold you accountable. It's just you. Your mentor is never going to hold you accountable. In his eyes, if you can't even hold yourself accountable, how can he help you? Right? So you have to understand something. If you can fill in every single day of February, or at least a majority of the days, 70%, 75% S's, that was a good month for you. You are making progress. You're disciplined. If majority of them are F's, I'm sorry, guys. You got to change something. You got to do something to change how you look at each day, right? It's not just 24 hours anymore. It's a successful 24 hours or a failed 24 hours. It's okay to fail some days. Not everybody's going to be disciplined every single day unless you're Hormozy, Gary Vee, some crazy anomaly, like the pinnacle of success. Don't compare yourself to. Compare yourself to normal people, your mentors. Do they take days off? Of course they take days off. Even if they tweet no days off, I don't give a fuck, I'm grinding. Guys, we make a bunch of money to take days off. We make a bunch of money to take vacations more. So what are you thinking? That not every day is going to be a success or a failure? No, there's going to be a bunch of days where, you didn't do shit because you didn't want to. That's the point. That is the fun part. Okay? You got to fill out this calendar. Even if you don't read that book. I read that book over 100 times. I still listen to it. I still listen to the audiobook on Spotify because it motivates me, and then it reminds me that I have to be disciplined into doing little things like this, successfully filling out my agenda in my day every single day and checking things off. Do I have a successful day every day? No, I don't. Some days are F's. But that is the point, that you have to get started in filling out this chart, or else you're going to be beat. You're not going to be able to fucking put together a winning month, a winning year, right? So this is where it starts. This is how you start to be disciplined. Get to it, guys. Buy a calendar. Actually fill that shit out. I had a big one. My first one, when I first read the book, my shit was the size of a wall. And every day I wrote F for success. And most of my days were filled with successes. And that's when my breakthrough came. That's when I started doing 300K months. I wrote into the calendar what I had to do that day. Did I check most of those things off? Did I cross them off my list? That's where the dopamine comes from. Crossing off the things that you had to get done that day. That is the fucking fun part. That's the discipline. Now, is this the easiest or the hardest time to make money? It's obviously the hardest time for you, the easiest time for others. That is what I do now. Now, can I compare it to 100 years ago? In my opinion, times probably evolved the same exact way. For you or for me, this might be the easiest time. For Joe Schmo and the other guy, it might be one of the hardest because inflation's at an all-time high. But artificial intelligence is definitely one of the key components to making things exponentially easier and at the same time exponentially harder for those that don't care. Why? Because inflation is going to continue to rise. Artificial intelligence will begin to replace more people's jobs. Eventually, people are going to be getting paid by the government just to exist or just to do some very simple tasks, because artificial intelligence is going to replace things slowly and slowly and slowly. And if you don't find a way to capitalize before then to get enough money or to get enough status and friends where you have an opportunity to make more money with them, you're not going to find ways to easily make money. So is this time the hardest or easiest way? It's probably all the same mathematically, but now with artificial intelligence, I actually think it's going to become exponentially easier and then exponentially harder for those who aren't tuned in to what we're tuned into, which is making money online. Okay? So, income, focus, silence, preparation, work, prayer, visualizing, right? The focus comes from you actually taking the motivation, focusing on becoming, telling your friends, no, I'm not going out, I'm not drinking, I'm not doing whatever, I don't care. I'm just gonna focus. That turns into discipline. If you could do it every single day, every single week, I'm not saying don't see your friends. I'm saying every single day, as opposed to smoking, drinking, and having fun. You do that once every 2 weeks, once every month, right? And you do it in silence. You don't tell everyone, yo, I'm not your friend. Nah. You got to be humble. Why are you bragging about just working? You're bragging about working? That's the fucking bare minimum. You're going to brag about working. Do it in silence. Don't tell everybody your plans. Tell them if people are blowing you up, yo, what's wrong with you? You've been distant. I'm sorry, bro. Like I'm trying to get the shit off the ground. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to work. I want to put in some time. That's it. That's all you need to say. If they can't respect that, then they ain't your friends, which they will respect it because they know, damn, this guy actually might make it. He's serious about it. He's not just bragging about it, not doing shit. He's telling me straight up because I asked him, and then you prepare. The preparation comes in. What can I do each week? What can I do each day? Is it a successful day? Is it a failed day? You actually work towards it. You actually do the shit that you say you're going to do, and then you do it. And then you pray on it. You visualize. You meditate on it, right? You think about the things that you want, and then you visualize and meditate on those things. That's the part that I'm not going to touch upon in this video because you could easily look up so many of their videos doing breath work, Wim Hof, meditation, Wim Hof. You guys have heard this stuff before. All you got to do is dive deep. I'll do videos on it if you want to see it. Hit a like, hit a subscribe, drop a comment. I want to see how you visualize. I want to see how you meditate because that is a big part of my day. I noticed there was a direct correlation in my life. When I prayed less, meditated less, and did less breath work, my results were worse. My life was worse. My life is worse continually when I cut those things out. When I add them back into my life is naturally better. I swear. This is something I wouldn't joke about. Why would I joke about it? Why would I be talking about it if it wasn't for real? Now, if you're in between books, I want you guys to read The Power of Positive Thinking. This is going to rearrange your brain to think that every moment for you should be a positive, light, meditative moment in the things that you want, to be happy. It's a great book I read a bunch of times. A lot of you need it because you're depressive about the things that you don't have yet. You watch the motivating videos all the time. It's really brain rot at this point on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and you just can't fucking handle the moments where things stagnate. You can't handle the moments where people fail. That is the beauty. That's the beauty of the game. You will fail, and it becomes so hard, pause, that once you actually succeed, you remember why the beginner is not going to have a good time. Why it's actually hard to reach the level that you got to. You're like, damn, I finally did it. 100K months, 10K, 20, 30K profit months. You said, fuck it, I finally hit this. I'm never going back there because that shit was hard as fuck. I'm not going back down. And then when your beginner friends or your family ask you, yo, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? You get to tell them, I failed so much. I had to hit so many fucking roadblocks on the way that it changed my life. It changed the perception of my life because I know how hard it is. And I'm not ever going back. I'm not giving up. I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't care if you see me stressed with eye bags, can't sleep, pounding energy drinks, sacrificing my health. I'm just not going back to it because I already worked so hard to get here, and it is that fucking hard. Okay? So guys, that's the end of the slide. We didn't talk much about mentors, but my point is going to be, and I recorded a video before this that sucked balls where I was just talking shit about mentors. Instead of talking shit about them, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to give you an analysis of how I pick my mentors. The first thing is, are results, okay, fine. Everybody could fake results, fine. But when they talk about their results, are they talking about things that actually make sense? Does it make sense? Is it applicable? Is it practical? If you don't know what practical means, it means you can take it or I can take their advice and actually apply it. Is it practical? Or are they just sitting in their sports car talking all the time? How the fuck is that going to help you? The problem with people who are so far along is that they become so disassociated with the beginning. They forget, they don't want to talk about it or think about it so much. They don't know how to help a beginner. So I pick mentors that maybe they're not as flashy, but I can tell they're smart. They actually care about teaching. That is a big component when I pick my mentors. Are they passionate about teaching? Not passionate about making money. Because if they're passionate about making money, they're going to make money off you. They don't care. And that's good. That's a good trait to have. That's a big trait to have. Because that's, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, when you get further along, that's a good mentor. Because all they care about their drive. Now, should it be your only focus? No. But their drive leads them to making more money. That is a good trait, their drive. Not an obsession with it, but having drive to make more. The problem is you as a beginner can't channel that motivation into discipline right away. You have to be taught the process slowly and surely, and that's why you being on YouTube is amazing, because you can actually start applying these things to your life and then your business, right? If it's an ads guide or a Shopify guide or whatever it is. But the next problem is going to be that how applicable is it, and was it easily well taught? Your mentor is not going to have the answer for every single problem for every single one of you. It's impossible. Every business is different. Every person is different. Every journey is different. That's why the group calls play a part. That's why if they're not involved in teaching you anymore, it's kind of like, how are they a mentor anymore, right? So you have to find somebody who's actually still passionate, who still teaches, who answers your questions, right? Doesn't leave stones unturned. You know, they're not going to be able to answer every single one of your questions all the time, but it's just guidance. It's guidance. They give you a blueprint and you go on your way and you figure it out and you fail and you succeed on your own too. And they just answer your questions and help you along your journey. It's your journey, right? So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I sparked something in your brain to learn how to pick mentors. Even if you're watching free videos, pick somebody who's passionate about what they're talking about, because that is the most important factor of learning from someone. Are they passionate? Do they know what they're talking about? Can they teach me in the long run? Are they going to answer my questions? And then you find the secret. So hit like, hit subscribe. We're going to be talking about how I really dive deep into these, you know, a couple $1,000 days. You know, these last 3 months have been poetic because I had a lot going on in my own life, and you know, things are looking up. I know it's going to be a huge year, and I feel like it could be a huge year for you too with everything that's going on. So take advantage of it. Stay blessed. Stay happy. Read a couple books. Get involved. Have successful days, not failing weeks, but successful months. And I promise you, you're going to see your life change slowly but surely. Until the next episode, guys, Professor X, Pete is out. Make sure you hit subscribe and turn on post notifications. We'll be back for the next one very soon.